Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation if there is anything, and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Aries, let's jump on in. We're going to start with overall energy through oracle cards, and then we're going to dive deeper into the reading, into the messages with tarot as we progress. So let's start with looking at, Aries, your overall energy for your recent past to see what you guys have been dealing with. Overall energy for Aries, recent past. Be bold and make the first move. A time for healing. A win-win outcome is forecast. Expect powerful change, and then that be bold and make the first move card. So there's something that I feel you've been contemplating. A decision, an action, something that maybe you've been on the fence about, or I don't know. Something that you're doubting, but yet desiring at the same time. And I feel like you've been in this space of contemplation and you've kind of looked at it from all angles. I do. I really feel like you've looked at this from like all of the angles. And sometimes, and I don't know necessarily if this is what happened, but it's kind of like getting yourself stuck in an energy of like overthinking. And I feel like that's what, I don't know what this is in regard to, but I feel like that's what's kind of happened, is you've gotten yourself a little bit stuck and maybe overthought yourself into fear, into second guessing. I don't know. But I do feel like it's about something that you're really desiring, something that you're wanting to bring to fruition. What does Aries need to know about their current energy? The end of a tough cycle approaches. A win-win outcome is forecast again, but then you have nothing is yet set in stone on the bottom of the deck. So it feels like whatever decision you've been on the fence about, it's like the answer is yes. Yes, make this change. Yes, make this decision. Yes, take this step. Yes, start the business. Yes, leave that relationship. Whatever it is that you've kind of been on the fence about. Because I feel like where the energy that you've been in and what you've kind of been dealing with has been holding you back in some way, or like dragging you down or lowering your vibration in some way. And I feel like it's put you into some really like not so great situations. And it's time for you to like break free of something, of an old reality, an old way of thinking, believing, old habits, and to just like go after it. Because with this nothing is yet set in stone, one of the things that we have to remember, and this is like one of the reminders that I love about that this card really brings, is that, our life and our destiny is up to us. We have the ability to create the life that we want. But we also have to break away from our fate. There's a difference between like fate and destiny. And fate is when you allow your limiting beliefs and your fear and your doubt and your insecurity to make the decisions. Your destiny is when you step out of those things and start making decisions based in like faith and believing in yourself and believing that you're lovable and deserving and all of the things that you need to believe in order to receive the things that you desire. So it kind of feels like it's like your life is changing, or there's like this shift that's kind of happening, but it's also a result of you going after it or deciding to make some sort of change or decision. I don't know. But it's like this is going to lead to the outcome that you do desire. Or like something's been in the works for a really long time and now you're really, it's like it's time, or you've been prepared, or something of that nature. What does Aries need to know moving forward? Because this feels like a shift for the better. Conclusions are within reach. Work through your fears. So there's something that I don't know if something you're afraid of, or you're afraid of the outcome of something, which is why you've been, but yeah, your dreams need a practical plan. This is going to require you to take practical steps. So I don't know what, like I said, this is in regard to, and we'll get deeper when we dive into tarot, but it feels like this is about making dreams reality. Like you've been dreaming, you've been contemplating, you've been wondering, you've been thinking about it, and maybe even got yourself stuck in the overthinking phase. But now it's like taking those tangible steps to actually bring something to fruition. So, but it's like maybe there's a lot of fear surrounding like, yeah, some sort of an outcome or something. But if something doesn't work out, it's always redirecting you toward, what is really meant for you. So that's where the win-win kind of comes from, is it's like it either works out or it doesn't work out, and in that way it's actually still working out. But I don't know. Let's see. Overall theme of this reading for Aries. I feel like it's an exciting reading. I'm a little bit confused on how it's all tying together right now, though. Or like what the real like point of it is. Protection. So some sort of path or some sort of outcome, okay, is very protected. And then you have growth with new life here. I feel like it's almost like you're ready for something. You're ready for a change or a next step or a decision or starting something. And it's like, whatever this is, it's very meant for you with the protection card. It's very, very meant for you. And I feel like you've been doing a lot of growing and doing a lot of healing and doing a lot of introspection. But it's almost like now it's time for you to take that and to apply it to it's like all there is to know about this. And now it's time to like make a decision, take a step, make a change, like to just do it. It's kind of been a theme in fire sign readings, is like, if you want to create something, you've got to take the steps toward it. But there's like all this doubt surrounding like, well, should I do it? Or is it the right time? Or is it the right path? And it's like, there's no more contemplating whether or not it's the right path. It's like, you're never going to know for sure. What did I see once? It was like, you can ask for the signs all day long, right? But sometimes you have to stop asking for a sign about whether or not it's right for you. And you have to start like taking the steps toward it. You have to start asking for the courage to pursue it or to go after it or to create it. What does Aries need to know about this past energy? This is kind of similar to the Leo reading. It's a little bit different. But I do feel like, if you have a Leo in your chart, there could be some things that resonate with you in that reading too. All right, past energy here for Aries. But like, why you have a win-win outcome as forecast? Because I feel like this is so divinely protected. 3 of Cups in reverse. So you've been in places and in spaces that you don't really belong in, or maybe you've outgrown, or maybe you've you no longer align with. And I feel like it's like you've been contemplating maybe stepping out of these spaces for a while, but you've been afraid of what that would look like or what that would mean. Maybe it's a job, relationship, I don't know. But I feel like it's like in your heart, in your soul, that you don't belong here, or you didn't belong in this space. But maybe you spent a lot of time kind of waiting for things to change, or waiting for things to get better, or waiting for things to improve, and they didn't. And I feel like, this is kind of getting to this point where, and maybe you got there, or maybe you are there or are getting there, where you're basically like, I'm done like settling for less, because this is kind of this recognition that where you're at, or the spaces that you're in, like that they don't value you or treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. And sometimes that can kind of be like a painful thing, a painful realization, because it's like, man, like I've given so much to this, or I've given so much of my time and energy to this, and it just doesn't value me, or doesn't choose me, or doesn't care about me. And there's usually so much more to it than just like black and white, they don't value me. But I do very much feel, and this doesn't just have to be about relationships, right? It could be about a job. It could be about like friendships. It could be literally anything. But it's almost like recognizing that the places that you were in, it's almost like they required you to shrink yourself, or to give too much of yourself, and deciding to do something about it. But it's like after a long time of being in this place, and maybe it's either like you're needing to decide to do something about it, or like it's time to decide to do something about it. And with this Death in reverse, it does feel like there's kind of this hesitation to make change, because I do feel, you have this Tower, you have the Wheel of Fortune. It's like things could either go really wrong or things could go right. Like I feel like you're really looking at this from the perspective of like, this could not work out, or it could work out. So much of the time we have a tendency to view our life or something through the lens of like what could go wrong, or all of the reasons that something couldn't work out. But there always are going to be ways that things could go wrong, and reasons that something isn't going to work out, or that you're going to fail, or that it's not going to, you're not going to get to where you want to be. But there's always just as many reasons to the opposite. There's always just as many reasons why it could work out, and why it could lead you to the life that you desire, or why you could succeed, or whatever the case is. And whichever one of those you give more of your energy to is going to be the reality that you do create. So let's see what you're needing to know about your current energy here, Aries, because I do feel like wherever you've been, it's been difficult. It's been tough. That's why you have the end of a tough cycle approaches. The King of Pentacles in reverse. Focusing too much on temporary circumstances. Page of Cups. So there's divine guidance available to you. Okay. The Devil. There it is. And then there's the Ten of Pentacles. So sometimes we have a tendency to attach to how things are, or how things have been, because we start to talk ourselves into believing that they can never get better, that we can never have more than what we have right now. What if I walk away from this, or what if I start this thing? What if things only get worse, or what if I fail, or what if it doesn't work out? And I feel like there's been this tendency to kind of attach yourself to how things are, to the extent that you're not listening to the divine guidance to make changes toward how things could be. And I know a lot of times I see this in careers. People will kind of settle for a job that, they don't love, that they maybe even sometimes hate, because they're like, well, I need the money. The money's good. Things are fine. Like, I can do it. I can handle it. But it's like, but there are better opportunities out there for you that you might not be aware of because you're attached to what something is currently providing you. And it's not to say you shouldn't be grateful for what you do have, but it's also, I feel like, the universe's way of getting you to see that more is possible for you. And I feel like that's what you're being asked to do right now. If you want things to change, if you want to break out of this new cycle, like, again, it just feels like the answer is yes. Yes, it's time to make a change, or yes, it's time to take that step, or yes, it's time to go for it, or to walk away from it, or whatever the answer is for you, because I feel like you have some sort of outcome in mind. Maybe it's the love that you deserve and desire, the success you deserve and desire, or the financial freedom, or whatever it is that you deserve and desire. And it's like, where you've been, you've tried really, really hard to make it happen in those spaces, but it's like, it's not meant to happen there. That's why I feel like you're being pushed into a new direction, or into like a direction with more opportunity, or like more possibility in it. And I'm not saying that like you've wasted your time or anything, because I feel like you wouldn't be where you're at so willing to start to make changes, or to start to, step out of your comfort zone, if you hadn't have kind of stayed here. For me, for a really long time, I didn't realize, that I could have more out of a career. I was so focused on, money and making sure that I had the money that I needed to live. And that survival mentality is natural and normal, right? So I don't, look down on myself for that, but I did also realize that like life shouldn't just be about like working your life away just to make money to survive. There's more to it than that. So, getting to do something that is very fulfilling, and something that, does bring me a lot of joy and a sense of purpose, while not having to burn myself out, but still, being able to make the money that I make. Like, those things are all possible for you or for us, but sometimes we get a little bit complacent and we stay where we're at because we think, well, what if it doesn't ever get better than this? But that what if it doesn't ever get better than this will always keep you stuck and not having what you want. The question shouldn't be, what if it doesn't ever get better than this? The question is, how good can it get? And in that way, like, what steps can I take to bring that to fruition? Because I feel like the universe is like, you have this 10 of Pentacles available for you, this abundance, this potential that you have not tapped into. And it's like, now it's the time to tap into it. And know that you're very protected on this path as well. Because I think that that's one of the most important things to know. What does Aries need to know moving forward? Yeah, because it's like your dreams need a practical plan, and then you have this work through your fears. It's like the outcomes that you desire on the other side of your fear, on the other side of the changes that you're afraid to make, or the steps that you're scared to make, or the things that you're afraid to go after, or whatever the case might be. Does Aries need to know about this immediate future energy? You won't be disappointed. 5 of Cups in reverse. I love seeing the 5 of Cups in reverse because I feel like it's kind of this energy from the universe that's like, you don't really get to know how good it's going to get, because that surprise, is like the whole point. But there are opportunities here that I feel like you're completely unaware of as of right now, that won't come unless you're willing to face the fear that they won't come. I hope that makes sense. It's almost like if you settle for less, you're never going to receive more, right? So if you talk yourself into believing that like where you're at is enough, or that like the relationship that you're in with somebody who doesn't treat you well or doesn't value you is enough, or that the job that you hate, like if that's as good as it can get. And I know you got to pay the bills, right? It's scary to be alone. Like there's so many things to justify staying in the same place, but it feels like the universe is like, but you don't get it. Like you don't get how good things can be. You don't, like, it's like remembering who you are. You are a divine being having a human experience. You have so much more power than you even think that you do. And I feel like this is about reclaiming that and allowing yourself to truly step into it, to start to actually create really cool things for yourself here. I think that one of the things that I've really learned on the journey to creating the life that I desire is that you usually have to be willing to face the fear that things aren't going to work out in order to create it. Like, if you want to be successful in your career and in your business, you're going to have to go through periods of facing your fear of failure and facing, those fears that things aren't going to work out or that, you're going to end up in a worse position or whatever the case is. But if you're willing to face those fears and overcome them, you are typically, going to create them. Same kind of things goes for relationships. If you want the relationship that you deserve and desire, you have to be willing to face those periods of being alone and face the fear that, like, what if the right relationship doesn't ever come along? Because if you don't face the fear that the things that you deserve and desire are possible for you, you're going to settle for less. You're going to shrink yourself or force yourself to fit into relationships or spaces or jobs that don't truly align with you, because you're going to say it's this or nothing, when in reality it's either there's power in saying no, is what I'm trying to get at. Sometimes saying no to what doesn't serve you is the first step in opening the door to what does, and sometimes that requires you to really put yourself out there and face the fear that things aren't going to work out in order to create it. But what else does Aries need to know moving forward? It's interesting that I only took 2 cards. I didn't realize that I did that. What else does Aries need to know? Maybe there's something here. The 8 of Swords. Your limiting beliefs are the only thing keeping you stuck. Limiting beliefs is something that I talk a lot about on this channel and just in general, like in my coaching sessions and in my personal life. Like I have really, really learned that our limiting beliefs are the only thing, if not the biggest thing, if not the only thing holding us back. This 8 of Swords in reverse, you have it upright, but the 8 of Swords in reverse is actually my favorite card in tarot. I had it on my vision board for a while because it's all about breaking yourself out of limiting beliefs and the limiting reality that they reflect back at you. And I mean this in the most literal way. Like, if you don't think that you can have the love that you deserve and desire, you're not going to be able to create it. If you don't think that you're going to that you can find success, you're not going to be able to create it. So before, if you really break down the law of attraction, it's that your thoughts become your beliefs become your actions, and your actions become your reality. So if you're having trouble believing that you're worthy, deserving, capable, all of those things, you have to start showing up as if you are. You have to start acting as if you are. Acting as if is one of the number one most important tools in manifestation, because it requires you to say, sure, I doubt. Sure, I don't, I'm afraid and I'm scared that I'm not supported and all these things, but I'm going to act as if I am, because your actions are going to create your reality. So as you are moving forward on this journey, I feel like this is about allowing yourself to break free from the reality that you've been in. If it's been unfulfilling or if you're not where you want to be, figure out what is holding you back the most, what limiting belief is holding you back the most, what is the biggest, factor at play in your life. Like, when you look at the things that you want, what is the first obstacle that comes to mind? And when you find that obstacle, find a way around it. Figure out a solution. Ask for guidance. There's always, always, always a way to better experiences, a better life, a better reality. But we have to be willing to believe that it exists. If we don't believe it exists, we're not going to find our way through. So there's a new beginning that I feel like is waiting for you on the other side of this. But I do feel like it's going to take a willingness from you to really go after it in order to create it. And I feel like the collective that I typically attract on this channel is the type of collective that absolutely will be willing. But I do feel like that's kind of the biggest thing that you're needing to know, is that the only thing that can hold you back from this is you. And it's not so simple in the sense that, like, obviously you're trying. Like, nobody is like willingly going, oh yeah, I'm going to accept less than what I deserve. Like, some people are like, I literally don't know what the next step is, or like, I literally don't see a solution or a possibility. And that's natural and that's normal, but don't face it from this place of there isn't one, right? Because that's where you get yourself into trouble. You can say, I don't see a way around right now, but I know that there is one. Even just changing your language around it, even just changing the way that you speak about it and the way that you talk to yourself about it can drastically drastically change the outcome, because you're constantly listening to yourself. And if you're telling yourself there's no way around this, there's no way to better, things can never improve, if that is your inner voice, inner monologue, you are constantly reaffirming these beliefs that those things aren't true, and your actions are going to be reflected in those beliefs. Remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious level decision making. And when I talk about that, one of the things that we have to understand, what I mean when I talk about that, is that the majority of the way that you're interacting with your reality, the decisions that you're making, the actions that you're taking, the choices that you've made, all of it is a reflection of what you have learned is possible for yourself. So understanding that in order to kind of change these things on the outside, you have to start to consciously override those beliefs. You have to choose to believe that you're lovable, that you're deserving, that you're capable, the universe is supporting you, and act as if that is the case. You have to show up believing that is the case in order for it to become a belief. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to hop on over to the extended, where we're going to focus on what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So focusing on some tangible advice for you guys moving forward. This is what you need to know. Extended is what you can do. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aries.